First movement phase. So first thing we have to do during the movement phase is the rally. Sometimes during the game you will get organized retreat markers on top of the units, or disorganized retreat markers, this one in yellow lines, with some restriction that we will see later, but we are going to see why it affects to movement. So we have a free attempt for each one having one of those markers. So the only thing you have to do, it's a roll. You take a blue die and roll once per each unit having the one of these markers, the retreat markers. So 1 to 4 is a failure and 5 to 6 is a success, so you can remove. So there are some dice roll modifiers. For this type, for the organized retreat, you have a +1. So it means that with 4, 5, or 6, you will be able to remove them. But the other one, the disorganized, they don't have any modifier. There is another additional modifier of +1 that we will check during the common phase, not now. So for the movement, we have two types of movement. We have the normal movement and the strategic movement. We will check first the normal movement. So each US unit, as we see here, they have here the number in the center is showing a 6. That's the movement allowance of that unit. So during bad weather, the movement allowance is reduced by 1, so it will be 5 instead of 6. And if that unit has organized retreat marker, is going to have a -1 movement allowance also. These two are cumulative. So in this case, we have -1, this unit a -1, it's a -2. So this unit will be able to move only 4 movement allowance. Movement is very easy, it's similar to other games for hex and counter games. We have a cost of 1 for this type of terrain, but it's clear. And we have difficult, this one a little bit greenish. It's 2, the cost, the movement cost, 3 for the rod, and 3 for the Moin-Suribashi. So we have some movement restrictions that we have to mention. Is that when we have units in the beach and they are adjacent to an enemy, they cannot move, they are pinned down. It's very important to know that. And also, if you are in the beach hex and you want to exit the hex, you have to pay 1 additional movement cost, movement point, for exiting. There is also another situation for when you are in SOC, enemy SOC, that it means that you are adjacent to an enemy. You can get out of the SOC with a +1 cost to the movement, but only if when you exit the SOC, you do not enter in any other enemy SOC. For example, if we have this case and I want to move, I can move here, but I cannot move here because I'm accessing to another enemy SOC. That's not allowed. That unit, it's not going to move right now because of this marker. It's indicating that it's still disorganized, so we cannot move that unit. When you move and you enter for first time to a key location, that airfield with the star, you get control of that zone if there is no Japanese unit in the adjacent hexes, in any of the 6 adjacent hexes. So in the moment you enter, you can place 1 counter, showing that it's under control. One of the key objectives, it's under control. If you do so within the game turn, it's specified in the rules, but also here on the map, it says turn 1 to 4. In this case, we are simulated, we are in the 4. So instead of using this side, we use the back side, which it has a +1 for an extra victory point. If you access it, but there is still an enemy unit around it, it's not under control. You need to eliminate this unit so you can control it. All right, and there is something like special in Moin-Suribashi, because if you are in this situation, you cannot access Moin-Suribashi unless there is no adjacent unit to Moin-Suribashi. In any case, because as we explained before, you could do like this because you are exiting a SOC and later move here, but it's not possible because you cannot enter Moin-Suribashi unless there is no adjacent unit around it. So that's the only exception we have for Moin-Suribashi. So if there is still units that you haven't moved previously during the normal, you can do strategical. You cannot do both. I mean, if you move in the normal movement with this unit, it cannot do now strategical because you have not moved it already. For doing a strategical movement, you can move long distances. It's very good to get and reach this area over here, but I have some condition that we are going to check now. First thing, it's these two are bind down, but in case this one it's adjacent, for example, this one it's you have a US unit adjacent to a Japanese unit, it's not subject to do so. If they have a disorganized market, it's not subject to do, you cannot choose that to do a strategical movement. So, but you can take any other unit to do so. If we have like a regular unit, for example, let's take this one that it's subject to be moved during a strategic movement, you have to check the Japanese unit, and the closest Japanese unit must be 2 or more hexes away. So in this case, 1, 2, or 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, we could place it here, for example. But if we had bad weather, we need to do that, we need to do 3 hexes away or more. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, we are covered here. So it's a valid location where to move. What happened also when we have an organized retreat marker like this, we could move it, but also with 3 or more hexes away. So in this case, 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, for example, here. And no matter if bad weather, they are not cumulative. If we had good weather and this situation, it also like 3 hexes or more away. What happens when you do this type of movement? It's that you get a marker, a situation marking on top of them to show that you have performed a strategic movement during this phase. So you place them like this position, indicating that the top icon is the one you have performed, and it means assault or recon or assault. We will check later what's the meaning. And the one in the bottom, it means like a combat support. So it will mean, as we will check later in the next phase, that this unit cannot perform a recon action or assault action because they have shown this marker and they did the strategic movement before. And there's something very important to take into consideration. It's when you're moving US units, you can move and you can pass through allied units, but you cannot end your movement together with allied unit. The stacking limit for each hex is only 1 unit. And also you cannot enter the hex where a Japanese unit, an enemy unit, it's located, move to other location. In the moment you enter a SOC, like a zone of control of an enemy unit, you must stop your movement unless you have the opportunity and you want to exit it if possible, as we saw previously.